Hola, 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 mi gente. Welcome to Happy Motherfucking Monday. How are you, No Saints?
Hello, hello. How are you?
I'm really, really good. Happy to be here on this Barbie Monday.
Barbie Monday. Nice little Sunday evening break. We're back on a
Right?
Monday.
Absolutely. We needed it, right? We needed that Sunday break. Well, I know I did. I don't know what goes on in No Saints world, but I needed that little break. Get to sleep in. You know what I mean? Hang out, vegetate, eat junk food, Netflix.
For sure, for sure.
Right? So glad you're here because it's all about white men tonight. And I think you fall under that category.
yeah, I do.
Yeah, you do. Thank you, Misty. Thank you. I wanted to Misty says she likes my t-shirt. I wanted to be on brand tonight because it's all about Barbie and girl power. Before we start, welcome to another episode of On the Block with Jen. I'm your favorite devil's advocate, Jen. If you want to support the show, whether you're catching the replay or you're live with us right now, hit my Cash App, buy the girl a smoothie. I like smoothies, okay? If not, if you want to just super chat me in the chat, throw a super chat in there. We will pull your comment up. Is a couple things. I have a little bit of fluff before I get into the main topic. Something very interesting has been going on in the LGBTQIA plus. I'm sorry, the 2S LGBTQIA plus community. Something has been brewing that's quite interesting. So I wanted to touch on that a little bit before we get into the main topic because I have a funny feeling that we're gonna have to revisit this. So I'll just throw it out there as a little fluff, and we could revisit at another time. I just thought it was interesting, and I don't want to do this stream without addressing it because it's hot off the presses right now. So what am I talking about? I actually have some video that I can share, and we'll dissect it really quickly before we get into this whole Barbie phenomenon. This Barbie thing took off. Okay, it's like $1 billion campaign. I've never seen a movie advertised like this ever. I can't remember since when. So it's very interesting. And we're going to get into all the conspiracies. I actually watched Ben Shapiro for 30 minutes. Can you believe it? I don't know how. Don't ask me how. I've never watched that man that long ever. But he had so many notes and so many pictures. He just kept me glued. I was like, although his voice is shrill, I watched. I watched for 30 fucking minutes. Now the entirety of his video was about 50, but I'm like, after 30, I had to quit. I gave up. I threw in the towel. I couldn't go any further. But what I caught him saying really was the reason for this stream tonight. And I've seen a lot of other men in the red pill arena addressing this. They are really mad at Barbie. They're super mad at Barbie. So I'm like, I don't know. You're a white man, No Saint. Maybe you can help us. Maybe you can help us figure this out tonight.
I'll try. I'm
Okay.
curious. I'm curious. Definitely. Yeah. I mean, Barbie. I'm not gonna see Barbie.
You're
Not
not
because.
gonna go see Barbie? I heard it's 2
No.
hours of pink and yummy.
It's just not my style. I'm much more interested in the Oppenheimer movie. That's more what I like. That's kind of movies I like.
I keep hearing about it. I keep hearing
But
about
I
it.
don't know. Maybe I'll see it on when it streams or something. If it's that great,
No, actually everyone's saying it sucks really bad. Well,
I can
if you listen to
imagine.
the men, if you listen to the white men online, the movie is the worst thing that ever happened to American
Oh
culture.
well, I don't know about that, but it goes along with. I didn't really watch the Flintstones when that came out. That
Okay.
movie,
Oh yeah,
it's
you're
just
not really into those kind of.
nah.
Okay. Well, it's funny because Ben Shapiro said it's like one of the top. I don't know if it was 5 or 10, but it wasn't more than 10. But he said, excuse me, it was one of like the top 10 worst films he's ever seen.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
it could be. Listen, there's a lot of bad movies that come out all the time. So
very true. Very true.
I mean, yeah, I
Very,
could see
very
it being
true.
a bad movie, but I don't know. Like I said, I'm open to if you go see it, I'll listen and see what you say about it, and if you give it a good review, I might give it a look. But
Yeah,
other than that,
I'm
I'll wait
definitely
for it to come
not gonna
out.
go see it. That's something that you probably catch like 3 o'clock in the morning, 3 years from now,
Yes.
and watch like 10 minutes of it. I don't like musicals. I loathe musicals, and I don't know if it's a musical, but I did see a cut where like Ken was singing, and I was like, okay, I'm out. I'm not
Now
gonna do that.
I will say I do like musicals.
You do?
Even that Moulin Rouge play out the theater I went to see Moulin Rouge. That's a musical. I do like live theater musicals.
Correct.
But
Well,
yeah,
maybe
but
live theater is better. Okay, have you watched Hamilton?
I did. I loved it.
Okay, you liked Hamilton. Did you watch In the Heights, Mr. I
I
Like Musicals?
I didn't see that one. No, I didn't see that one.
Okay, well, you know
I
Lynn.
saw the West Side Story, the new one. I watched that one.
How was that?
That was good. That was good. I liked it.
Okay.
But Hamilton, to me, Hamilton, Moulin Rouge. There's a few other ones, but those to me are really good. But you didn't like Hamilton?
I've never seen it.
Oh, okay, okay.
I've never seen it. I did watch In the Heights. I didn't watch West Side Story. I watched a few minutes of it, but again, like, I mean, a musical has to be super duper good to keep my
Yes,
attention. The songs are
yes.
always too fucking long. Like, I can get through if they cut the songs down to maybe, I don't know, a minute and a half.
Well, that's why like I saw the movie Moulin Rouge, and then
Mm-hmm.
I went and saw the musical here, and they
Mm-hmm.
added even more modern. Like they use modern songs for that, and
Mm-hmm.
then they even updated it because it's what 20 years later or whatever, and they use
Right,
some of
right,
the
right.
same stuff, but they updated it. Man, no, I mean, if you like music, if you like modern today, like some of the hits and stuff. I mean, it was, yeah, it was good.
It
Yeah.
was okay. Hello, Mama. How are you?
I'm good. YouTube gave me no notification. They are haters.
Yeah, you got to watch out for me because
Right. I kept coming back and then,
I,
I
I
started
I swoop I swoop in out of nowhere.
I started doing something and then but you know how it is. It's just like, oh shit, where am I at?
Okay, so you're on code tonight, Lily. I see you're pink.
Yes. Had to do the pink, had to be festive.
Right. Yes,
Yeah.
we got to be fed. It's Monday. We got to give people festive because people feel like shit on Monday. They hate their lives and they're like, "It's Monday." I'm like, "It's Monday, bitch. You're breathing. It's
I'm
Monday, bitch.
alive.
You're breathing."
I'm alive.
Right. And I always say, if you hate Mondays, then you're in the wrong career. You have the wrong job.
Look at no saying with the haircut.
Okay. You peeped. You peeped.
You're right.
I had to get it done, coming out next week. So
That
I
is
know.
correct. For
This is so
everyone watching,
exciting.
for everyone watching who's nosy, the block is going to get together in Vegas and we're going to have lots of content for you guys. We're all going to be in person. We're going to have lots of juicy content. So if you're nosy about us and what we look like, height wise, weight wise, in person, take a peek. We're going to be giving you lots of content regarding that in about 2 weeks or so. We're going to be live and in color.
So I'm
Okay.
gonna go ahead and give y'all a heads up. I'm 245 in person.
The lies you tell. And all this time, I lied. I draw on my abs. I draw on my abs. You got me.
We got
Okay,
to go
just
ahead and let it out now.
I'm
We need to
letting it
let it out now.
letting it out now. Okay, I draw my abs on. Sorry, guys. Um. So okay. So Lily, I was telling No Saint that I want to get into a little bit of this 2S LGBTQIA plus.
Girl, you better than me. I just say the queer community and go sit down somewhere and let that
wait,
be the
but
reason.
we're still wasn't there something else with the spirit or something like
Yeah, that's
that?
2S. That's the 2S. She got it.
Oh, 2S.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
Come
okay,
on,
2S.
get with it. No Saint, get
Yeah,
with it.
yeah. Okay, okay.
Okay, see that? I listen now. I used to hate it, Lily. I used to be like, I was fucking add another letter. Now it's like a challenge for me. So I'm like, go ahead, add another letter. I got you. I got you.
Lord, stop it. Because they're about to go to Roman numerals in a second. I'm just
I'm,
over it.
I'm like, now it's a challenge. So I have fresh off the presses, comedian, just hilarious, has gotten into quite the verbal fisticuffs with T.S. Madison, who is, what would you say she is, Lee? A podcaster, a public figure? Because she's not a comedian and she's not an actress. Is she a reality show actress? Where's she from?
She okay. Oh, I'll give you the rundown on T.S. Madison. I've actually been a fan of T.S. Madison for a long time. T.S.
Okay.
Madison was a homemade porn star before that became a big thing. Way before OnlyFans and before all those things, she was a sex worker and porn star.
Oh,
Yeah, and then she ended up being attacked by a man and left for dead. And
shit.
yeah, and her name. Oh, you ready to hear her poor name?
What's her porn? I'm afraid. Go ahead.
You're be afraid. You ready?
Yes.
Big dick bitch.
Oh my goodness.
Cause she has
A big dick.
a huge.
So she's BDB, big dick bitch.
Yes.
All right, and this is
So
only Monday. This is only Monday on the block, folks.
right. So you asked, okay. So
I
then
did.
what had happened was, but so she was really, really, really big in the LGBT sector, and then her and One Hit Wonder, um, Dusty
Kaya,
Rap Kaya. Now
Kaya.
they got together and they started doing a thing called Queen's Court. Now the shit was funny
No,
as
I loved Queen's Court. I loved it.
the
Sorry.
best ever. It was so good. It was the chemistry was unmatched. Okay. And so then that crossed her over into the more like, hetero world. Because TS is very funny. Very funny, very entertaining, very entertaining. And so that's what crossed her over. And then from there, she started getting show deals and stuff and started being invited to places. So she ended up getting a show on WeTV and quite a few things. So she tours a lot. She makes damn good money. So she's doing very well. Now, I do know what this is about, and I'll go into that later because as much as I like her, there's times I kind of have to side eye, and we'll get into that after you play the beautiful being
Okay.
footage.
Oh my goodness. All right. Chat, hold me down. Feel free to super chat as well if you want me to grab your comments. I'm gonna put this on subs only when we get to talking. Why? Because a lot of you little rats and roaches be like to slither up on in my chat without subscribing. And we don't mind you talking shit. All right. But have the courtesy to subscribe first, you bitch. Okay. So I do have now I don't have what T.S. Madison said, but we can look up like her comments. I don't have her video, but I do have Just Hilarious, and I do have the trans woman that started this
Mm,
freaking snowstorm. Okay. Simon, I see you backstage. You know I don't do avatars. Enjoy your night, babe. Okay, so here's the video. So I'll show because I will say this. T.S. Madison jumped into this. Like the trans woman said what she said, Just Hilarious responded, and then T.S. Madison jumped into it. And they're pulling, I mean, they're even bringing up Flame Monroe. And I was like, why are you pulling in Flame Monroe? Flame Monroe wasn't even in this. And I love me some Flame Monroe, okay?
me too.
But the girls don't really like her because she is very real. She's very neutral. She's like, this is what it is, this is what it is. And people, it doesn't matter what community they're part of, they want you to pick a side.
Right,
You
right.
must pick a side, right? And Flame is like, no, this is what it is. This is how I feel. So she
I
got thrown
love
into
Flame.
it. Like I was like, she got thrown into it, and they were saying that Flame Monroe is a stand-up comedian. She's a real comedian, not like Just Hilarious. I call Just Hilarious a car comedian, or IG comedian, but Flame Monroe is an actual, I guess,
For a long
transgender,
time.
right? Transgender comedian, but she calls herself he, she, we. She doesn't care whether you call her he or she. And a lot of trans women don't really dig her because she won't pick a side, right? She's like, no, she's neutral. She's down the middle. She's like, she sees the plight on both sides, you could say, right?
I identify with her the most out of everybody.
Yeah. Flame is amazing. So they pulled her in, and now they even pulled Flame Monroe in, and they're blaming her because she doesn't pick a side. They're like, oh, she used to be a comedian and say jokes so other people could laugh at, but now she's doing the what do you call it? The
Self-deprecating.
deprecating comment. I'm like, that's not Flame. A lot of comedians, most actually, laugh at themselves. They're
Yes.
like, my wife is this, my kids
Yep.
are that, I'm fat, I'm ugly. Like that's what comedians have been doing that since the beginning of
Yeah.
time. But when Flame does it, it's like, oh my God, it's I was like, what do you do? That's comedy.
It is.
That's what we all laugh at ourselves, right?
Right.
So I got the comment that the trans woman did. I don't know her name, but everybody's gonna know her name now.
Right. I forgot her name too. I'll look it
So
up though.
So this is what she said, and then we'll see Just Hilarious's clap back, and this is layered.
Yes, it
Ooh,
is. Yes, it
child.
is.
When the transphobia just comes out, the audacity and just the arrogance for cis women to believe that they own periods, that they own womanhood. You don't. Okay, you don't own periods, you don't own womanhood. You experience both, and both are different for every person, but as a cis woman, it doesn't belong to you, so you can't gatekeep it. Like, hello?
So everybody got that?
I,
We
I haven't
cannot.
I haven't had a period in 42 years.
And I've had too many, Lily.
Okay.
And I've
All
had
right.
way too many.
All right.
I
All right.
told you, no, Saint, this is gonna be layered, okay? But we're gonna get through it because we have to revisit. We're gonna get through it so we can get to the main topic. So this is what Just Hilarious says. So the trans woman is basically saying can't gatekeep periods. It doesn't belong to you. It's just an experience. Yada yada. Right? That's the translation.
I want to have a period, damn it.
All right. So Just Hilarious said, "Oh,
Who the fuck stands up for us? And us, I mean women, real women, biological women, women who were born with all the parts that you guys wish that you were. When does the delusion stop? What is the difference between you and someone who has been diagnosed to be mentally insane? What's the only difference is you don't have a straitjacket on. Stop talking out your fucking ass. Wake up. How are you projecting your anger on real women? Because we are the gatekeepers. We are the gatekeepers for periods. We the only one that fucking bleed, honey. We the only ones that can give birth. We make y'all people.
okay." So the amount of shade in both those videos. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen this amount of shade. I'm not the biggest fan or not even a fan of Just Hilarious. I don't like her. I don't like her comedy. I don't like her disposition. I don't like her. She's one of those people. She reminds me of one of those people like in junior high school, high school, who was either ugly or fat. So they tried to be extra mean to put up that wall because they know you're gonna call them fat and they know you're gonna call them ugly. So they come out extra hard, and then people kind of like leave them alone because it's like, oh, they're extra hard. So there's no point in like, trying to get at them in those departments. I don't think she's funny. But like a lot of car comedians, they amass a great following via social media and Instagram. It's easy to be funny on social media because people are bored and they throw up laughing emojis at any fucking thing. Like a cat could fall off a chair. Oh my god! Oh, belly rolls. It's so fun. Oh, did you see the cat fall off the chair? Oh. And then people start sharing the cat that fell off the chair. So in my opinion, Just Hilarious is a cat that fell off the chair. I digress because I have a lot to say, but I don't want to hog the mic. I will want to pass the mic if you need me to play the videos again because you missed something. I shall. But Lily, what say you straight out the gate listening to both?
I have a lot to say too, Jen. I feel like it's unnecessary to even have. I don't like those conversations when other trans women do that. I'm just like, why are we doing this? Why are we having this type of conversation? Are you trying to get attention? Are you trying to piss people off? Because let's keep it real, right? Let's just keep it a buck. um Cisgender, natural born, whatever anyone wants to be called, right? Women are our biggest allies. Okay. Hands down are our biggest allies. So you'll be an idiot to go after the women who defend us the most, right? That's on one hand. Now, on the other hand, with the whole Just Hilarious, on the other hand, we do have a sector of women who will pretend to be allies, but the moment they get mad, then we're every, name in the book other than the name that we told you to call us by, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which shows that they weren't really an ally in the first place, because it's like, okay, that's what you really thought of me, right? But
Mm-hmm.
so you have both of that, and I see both of that going on kind of, because I can, although I can identify with with just kind of, because I can identify with her frustration. Like, girl, what are you talking about? Because it's kind of like I can imagine it would be like a white person intruding on on our black experience, and like, oh no, you don't own whatever. It's like,
Right.
bitch, you know what I'm saying? So I can understand that, like, that will piss anybody off.
Right.
At the same time, you said she just reminds you of the cat falling. She just reminds me of the trash that you find in Baltimore. I'm not
Oh,
saying everyone. I'm not
right.
saying that everyone in Baltimore is trash, but she just gives me typical Baltimore trash. Typical.
Okay.
And I have seen and I have experienced women like her, right? Who pretend to be allies, but then really aren't. So I feel like there's that going on, but then I also feel like there's the element with the trans girl for even starting that. Either she's trying to get into attention,
Mm-hmm.
or she is jealous of natural born women,
Mm-hmm.
right? Say that,
Which is a possibility.
which
Which
is a
is a
possibility.
possibility.
Say that,
Mm-hmm.
right? But the thing is, I stated this and I'll state it again. You have no need to be jealous of a natural born woman because it's apples and oranges. Why are you even comparing yourself
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to a natural born woman? There's two different plates going on, but then there's like a Venn diagram. There's things that meet in the middle between cis women and trans women, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But then cis women have their own unique experience, and so do trans women. So just discuss that experience. Why are you comparing and trying to conflate your experience with someone else's? That's
Mm-hmm.
just divisive. It's toxic,
Mm-hmm.
and we already have enough enemies.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
don't go out there. It's just unnecessary. That's just where I want to start, because I got to go to T.S. Madison too. Actually, I'll go to her right now. T.S. does
Right.
that from time to time
Hold
herself.
on, Lily. Hold on, Simon. You're behind an avatar. Like I don't. People have been watching this show long enough to know I don't bring avatars up here. Go hide on somebody else's channel. I don't do avatars. So if you can't show your face, goodbye.
That simple. Let that be the reason.
Hi, Simon.
I didn't get to see Simon while I was over there.
You didn't look him up. You didn't look up Simon when you was out there.
I
Not
forgot.
like you need to speak to me like that, Joe. Come on. That's crazy. Why did you need to speak to me like that?
Because you don't listen. And that's what happens when people don't listen. You have to be stern with them because you don't
Why do you
listen.
why do you think I don't listen?
Because you don't. You come up here with an avatar. You have any more questions, or you got some on the topic? Okay, Lily, you were saying.
So TS does the same thing from time to time as well. She does, but hers are more like dog whistles. Of
Yeah, mute your
com-
mics. Everybody mute your mic until you speak. Simon, mute your mic because I'm getting some sort of feedback. Go ahead, Lily.
yeah, she does the dog whistle thing. That's divisive between cis and trans women, and when I hear it, it kind of makes me cringe. Because she's been in issues like this before in the past.
Okay.
TS has. So that's when I'm just like, girl, I'm not with you on that one. I'm not with you on that one, because
Mhm.
I just don't never find the need to do that. I just don't.
So
And
let me ask you something before we pass the mic to No Saint. Let me ask you something. YouTube Press said no avatars. If I ever buy a webcam, you may amend that policy. You can't come up here with avatar. Period. I don't care who you are. I don't care if it's my mother. There's only one person that could come up here with
Yeah,
avatar,
but
and that's
come on. Yeah,
Tristan.
Jen, I've known you for like a year odd.
Yeah,
Like,
don't interrupt. Listen, Simon, are you going to be good for this panel tonight? Because if you're not, you can come up on another one. I don't want to be interrupted. Your mic is hella loud. It's not that serious. You could come up on another night, but this is going to be a really good
you're
conversation.
being very
And
disrespectful.
okay, goodbye. Have a good night, Simon. See you on the next one. So no YouTube Press. I was saying no avatars. Everybody has to show their face. The only one who doesn't is Tristan, and that's because he does a whole thing where he shares pictures and little gifts and stuff like that. That's what he does here. Okay, what's up, Kitten and Caskets, and everybody in the chat? Hold me down. Lily, I wanted to ask you something. This is very important because we hear the word ally thrown around a lot, right? Is there a perfect ally, right? When people
mm,
argue, let's say I'm an ally to, I don't know, white people, or they're allied to Latin, right? If I get, let's say, I love No Saint to no end. However, if I get in an argument with a white guy on the street, you might hear every cracker, honky, white devil in the book, right? Does that mean that I'm not an ally to No Saint because that's my go-to when I'm trying to insult one of them? Say like, because I feel the same way you do. I'm like, thought you was an ally. Why they gotta be a FAG and it is now that you mad? But it's just, is that just the go-to where we know, okay, this is going to hurt you, and that's what we're doing? What do you think about that? Is there a perfect ally? Does a perfect ally exist?
I've mulled over the same question. I haven't really come to a complete conclusion with this
Mhm.
question.
Mhm.
So I don't know. Is my answer for today.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's honest. That's
Yeah.
honest. Thank you for the super chat, Haran DeMarco. Our brother on the panel can't make it up tonight. He says, peace to the panel, handling work. I've noticed Black women accuse Black men of being homo and transphobic, yet the moment they are angered, they call gays trans out their name. Yeah, that's what we were just addressing here. Before we move on, because again, I said it's layered and I want to get to the main topic. What say you, No Saint, from the outside looking in? What do you think?
Yeah, well, to what you said, I think definitely we tend to use names, at least people tend to use names. Like if you have someone that you were, in a relationship with, and, and then they really want to hurt you, they're going to go to something that they know is going to hurt. Like, oh, that's why you suck in bed or something like that. That's why
That's how
you're,
your dick little.
yeah, right. And, so I think that can happen. It's just hard to tell what it is. Is it that, or is it that they just really, weren't all that much of an ally? That's a tough one. But I'm still a little confused. Like, I'm thinking to myself, so is the lady that's talking about you can't be a gatekeeper to a period, is she doing that as a metaphor, or is she serious? Because I'm like, wait, you can't have a period. I mean, it's a bizarre argument to me. I'm like, did they have to gatekeep it?
I mean, no, it's a thing where we don't have a choice. It's not, we don't have to gatekeep it because we don't have a choice. It's something that
right.
happens to us. So it's that we don't have to gatekeep it. It happens.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Did they really have to gatekeep it? I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like, first of all, like you said, it's not a choice. Secondly, the lady saying it can't. It's like,
So you know where
I'm confused. I'm confused on what she's arguing about. Because
okay,
I'm like,
so
well,
here's where I think it came from. I could be wrong, but here's where I think it came from. For trans men, right? Trans men still bleed. So remember, there was a big stink about the tampons because the tampons are marketed to women. But now we have trans men, and trans men still bleed because biologically they're women. So the tampons change the box, right?
Okay.
So I think it's coming from a point where, not only women bleed, men bleed too, meaning trans men. Remember that whole thing started. So I guess she's trying to say you can't gatekeep it because look, men bleed too. I'm thinking it's somewhere in. I'm thinking that's mixed in there along with her gatekeeping. But I'm like, I don't have to gatekeep something that happens to me like that. I mean,
at the end of the day, we're talking about it's bizarre. No matter how you cut it, it's bizarre to start a beef or an argument over. But yeah, I was confused. I just didn't know who was. At first, I didn't know which was which, and then as Lily started discussing it, I have a grasp that who is it? TS, is that
T.S. Madison, yeah.
TS, and what's the other person's name?
Just
Hilarious.
Just Hilarious is the woman, right?
Yes.
Okay, and
that's the
TS
comedian.
is the trans woman.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. It's bizarre. That's all I can say.
So do you think
go ahead.
I think the lines have been blurred to blindness. I think that's what it is. Like the lines have been blurred to blindness and entitlement. That's what I think. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that with Just Hilarious, it's funny because I spoke about this and I knew this was coming. Like cancel culture is canceling itself out.
Yep.
Maybe 2 years ago, they would have kicked Just Hilarious off her Breakfast Club job. But now everybody's pushing back on these quote unquote disenfranchised, marginalized communities, and not just the 2S LGBTQIA plus, not just them. Everyone who was yelling, shaming, and anti, like even obese women. Before it was, you better not shame because you'll get fired. Now people pushing back on that. Before it was like, light skin, dark skin people, you better not say nothing about dark skin people. And then Chris Brown, he got attacked for saying something about light-skinned women or liking light-skinned women. And he pushed back. He was like, I don't give a fuck. Don't buy my music. Don't come. So we're starting to see people from all communities that were saying, you're shaming or being accused of shaming or you're anti. Now all these communities are pushing back because I guarantee Just Hilarious is going to be back at the Breakfast Club. And I'm thinking a year or 2 years ago, I mean, they were trying to lynch Chappelle.
Mm-hmm. For not even
Recently.
really doing anything crazy. He
Right.
wasn't even coming for the community.
Right. So now it seems like, you know what I mean? It's like, is cancel culture canceling itself out?
I hope so. I hope so. I'll
And
never
we can
Yeah,
like
all
it.
get back.
I
We
think
can all get back to calling each other those wonderful, colorful names.
no,
Right.
I think it's definitely going to run its course. I
It's
don't
not
know how many more.
sustainable. It's not sustainable.
It's going to run its course.
Yeah.
Because what I say, just like I say, you can ride down and on every corner there's someone asking you for money. It just kind of gets to be white noise and it loses its effect. You're no longer shocked. You're tired of, not to say anything about the people that are truly in need, but it's almost like it's too much. It's you just like, I can't handle every single person that needs money, right? So you just become numb to it. And I think in this case, that's what's happening right now. It's just like, yeah, I mean, and some of the arguments are just so ridiculous.
Yeah, beyond. I mean, that
yes.
period thing really, and it's funny because even if you consider yourself an ally, like I found myself like, bitch, what? And then I caught myself and I'm like, here's the thing. What I don't want to be a hypocrite to what I tell other people not to do. So at first, when I first heard it, I'm like, bitch, do you bleed? You know what I mean? I went there because I'm like, because you automatically internalize, you like, I'm a woman. You know what the fuck I've been through because I'm a woman? You go there, right? But then you catch yourself and you're like, who the fuck are you again?
Right.
Like
Right.
you can call me whatever you want. You could, and it's up to me what I answer to. Right? Her opinion, what she says, who she's calling sis. But I'm like, I don't like the term sis, to be honest, right? And I'm like, don't call me sis, and I'll call you whatever it is you like. But even with that, it's like, well, I don't have to answer to you. I'm only going to tell you one time what to call me. And then if you insist, right, on doing something opposite of what I said, I'm not going to listen because you don't respect me. I don't respect you. Cool. There's a billion people on the planet. But then I caught myself and I'm like, who the fuck cares what this woman thinks about periods? Like, seriously, honestly, when the smoke clears, who cares? Is it going to change that biological women get periods? Is it going to change that trans women don't? Like, who cares at the end of the day? And that's what I tell people, like, catch yourself when people are talking and generalizing. Does it affect you? Does it really, really affect you? Like the guy I told you about when Keke Palmer went on stage and she was like, I don't need a nigga. And then he got offended. He was like, oh, she's saying she don't need black men. She said, and I was like, well, why did you throw yourself into her comment?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's Keke Palmer. She doesn't know you're breathing. She's a child, by the way. She's 29. I'm like, what? And you're pushing 60. I'm like, why do you care who Keke Palmer needs or doesn't need? So I caught myself and I was like, who gives a fuck? And I like, I would agree with something T.S. Madison said. There's this world that goes on, this beef that goes on, and then there's real life. There's a world where trans women and cis women get along famously, and they are allies, and they are friends, and they are going through life together. That's the other side that no one's bringing up while this shit is, while the cats are screaming in the bag over here. There's a whole other world. There's a whole other world going on. What do you think about this comment? Women are going to learn. When you play hero, you usually end up getting put up on the cross like Jesus. Well, do you say that when black women are marching and screaming and stomping for black men who get murdered? Are you saying that? Should women not cape for anybody?
Right, because it's
Because if
usually
it
more
wasn't
women
for
out there.
women,
It's
because if it
usually more
wasn't
women
for
out there
women,
marching. It is usually more women out there marching. Just
right?
saying. And the last few marches that I seen marching through here for BLM, it was mostly white people. So I'm just saying, there's other people who fight your battles too now. But no, you're right. And something that those things said, and you both said, like, it's not sustainable to the sense that, like, everybody has come to the point now where everybody wants you to care about their plight, right? So now
Mm.
we got to think about the LGBT, we got to think about the penguins, we got to think about the fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like, we got to think about global warming, we got to think about DV, immigration.
Immigration.
It's like everybody wants you to not only care, but be up to breast on all of the changes within their world, their small world, right? And it's gotten to the point where we are all suffering from exhaustion. Every last one of us.
We are suffering from cause exhaustion.
And this goes back to my thought and how I live my life, right? So before all this, because I just never understood the influx of all of the see me, think about me, and accept me. Like, that shit's weird to me. You are asking complete strangers to accept you,
True.
to like you, to think about you or care about you.
True.
It just doesn't work like that, right? You have to, I mean, it sounds corny, but I mean, it is what it is. You got to figure out a way to do that shit for yourself,
Mhm.
right? And so, and once you do that, everything else is icing on a cake. You're just like, child, they like me, they like me. If they don't, they don't. Just don't
Mhm.
touch me, okay? That's all. I don't ask for much. Just don't touch me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like if I tell you something and you go the opposite, okay, I'm not.
Okay.
This is BS on my Vegatron. Here's why. He's like, and it's their fight. I warned my black female friends when they jumped up me. It's their battle now. It's not my fault. The juniors department is empty. Manquisha took their man. Here's the thing. That's very honestly, on my Vegatron, that's very feminine in nature. And here's why it's very feminine in nature. Because women, we got tagged with one man does us wrong. All men are dogs, right? That was something that they put on us. They stamped on women. Like, we get out of a bad relationship. Oh, men are dogs. And it's like, no, the man you picked is a dog. And then life goes on. So that comment to me is feminine in nature, because you're saying, let's say a woman, a cisgendered woman, defends a trans woman. And then that trans woman does her dirty, betrays her. By the way another cis woman could have betrayed her, the way her sister could have betrayed her, the way her cousin could have betrayed her,
Right.
right? It's not gender specific. So are you saying that because that individual betrayed that cisgendered woman, that she's supposed to go, oh, see, that all trans women are bad? It's feminine in nature. That's not how life works. People are gonna fuck you over. And people fuck you over all the time, and you give them a pass.
Right.
All the time. Your mama fuck you over.
I was just about to
Your
say
daddy
family.
fuck you over. Your cousin, Pookie, Junior. You know what I mean? All these people fuck you over. So let's not pretend that people fuck you over and you keep rocking with them, or you keep rocking with that gender. Because if a woman fucks you over, you're not going to go gay, are you? Are you? Are you? Which takes me to Kitten and Casca's comment. We know black men aren't homophobic or transphobic. They just pretend to be in public.
That is the most true statement I've heard this year. Actually, me and one of my friends was literally having this conversation in the DMs earlier today, and that was exactly that was the topic right there, because they really aren't. You all don't let them fool you. Please don't let them fool you. And the ones that talk the loudest got the best dick. How that?
Oh my God. But this is something I thought it was gonna go away. But I noticed I'm like, okay, this is gonna go away, and then it just gets worse and worse and worse because then other people start seeing, oh, I could get in on this. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And we're all out here like Star says in the Start Report. We're all clout chasing. Everybody.
All of us.
All of us are clout chasing. So we pick the meat off the bones and shit, right? Everybody jumps in like, oh, me next. Let's talk about trans. You weren't even thinking about trans. I know, but still.
Like
Right?
Budweiser, fucking Budweiser. But who's been thinking about Budweiser? Ain't
Who the
none of
fuck
us
drinks
thought about
Bud Light?
But
What's going on?
we're outraged. Like we were planning on drinking some Bud Light. Like, come on now.
Right. Whatchamacallit? It's funny because what's the guy's name? The Bud Light gay guy.
Oh, Dylan. Mulvaney.
Mulvaney.
Yeah.
Okay, Dylan Mulvaney, the scandal with the Bud Light. I promise you, if you guys watch The Boys, he looks like Homelander's twin.
That's so funny.
Do you watch The Boys, Lily?
No.
Oh my! I'm gonna send you a side by side. He looks like Homelander. I'm like, he looks like fucking. I'm not the only one. Somebody see this? I'm pointing to the monster on the. Someone he looks like fucking Homelander. I'm not the only one that can see this. Dylan Mulvaney. And his smile and everything. And I love Homelander. That's my favorite character on The Boys. I'm sorry, because he's so fucking mean. It's like, you ever see somebody so mean it's funny? That's how Homelander. He's a psycho. Anyway, so yeah. So again, it sounds cliche and corny, but judge everybody individually. Just judge everybody individually, unless a lot of the motherfuckers are doing the same thing, which we've spoken about before too.
Like right? Nigerian scammers.
There you go.
Just saying.
Okay. I'm just saying, when you shake his hand, just count your fingers when you pull it back. I'm not saying treat anybody bad, but
baby, just saying.
So, going to, unless there's something else, anything you wanted to add, No Saint, about periods? Would you like to gatekeep a period or no? No gatekeeping for you?
No, I'm all right. Okay. I'll pass.
I mean, I just want to say every month I look at my drawers and I see no blood. I think these damn cis women.
Share some of that blood with me, you bitch. How is this even a conversation in 2023? Listen,
right.
If you would have told me this 10 years ago, that I would have been like, stop it.
Right. Like, we have definitely devolved.
Yo, we're just that in between. The freaking Jamie Foxx was cloned because his hairline looked different. I've had it. I'm like, I want off this planet. Fuel my rocket ship.
I tell you, every time I see Jamie Foxx come up, I'm like, I will not do this with you all.
Oh, I deleted a couple of people. I'm like, I can't. And then it's like it's not like stupidity. I can deal with stupidity. I know stupid people, but the levels of stupidity, that it's like stupidity on steroids. I'm like, if planet Earth, if the government was going to clone a man, Jamie Foxx.
Yes.
Because Jamie Foxx is such a threat to the
a lot of things. Yeah, a lot of things. All the things he's a threat to. Yeah, because he makes people laugh.
Right. He may bring back, what's her name? What's the character he did with the blonde hair? What was her name?
Oh,
Wanda. He may bring back Wanda. We have to stop him now.
Well, they need to clone Wanda if they want to clone anybody.
There you go. Okay, so tonight's main topic is the Barbie movie, feminism, hyperfemininity, and misandry. I saw a lot of cuts. People are sharing a lot of clips. I'm Puerto Rican, so I think cut. I'm seeing a lot of clips of this Barbie thing. It looks super, super hokey and corny. It looks like, from what I saw, it looks like adult humor. It doesn't look exactly for children, except for the colors and schemes that they're doing. Pop stars have been doing that forever, even though they have very nasty lyrics. Katy Perry does it. Nicki Minaj does it. And now Ice Spice is doing it because the color is pink. You know what I mean?
Takashi, she does it.
Takashi does it. These colors, and Takashi does it a lot. Like his music videos literally look like a cartoon you'd see on Nickelodeon or on YouTube Kids. So what they do, so they can have longevity in the music business, they cater the colors and they dress like little kids. Like Katy Perry's a grown ass woman and she's wearing candy canes and she's dressing like a 5-year-old. So they do that a lot. And that's what the Barbie movie is doing. It's very pink. It's very fluffy. It's very cute. But from what I hear of a lot of people reviewing the film, sounds like adult humor. Like there's a scene specifically where the men, for some reason, the men in Barbie are very metrosexual. There aren't any masculine Kens on this Barbie island. And there's a scene I saw Ben Shapiro played where they say he called it, for lack of a better term, because I don't remember verbatim, but just gay humor, right? Male gay humor. And the Kens are on the beach and they're telling each other, don't make me beat you off, like beach as in going to the beach. And then the other guy's like, I'll beat you off. He's like, no, I'll beat you off. And then another Ken comes in. He was like, hey, I'll beat you guys both off at the same time. So people are saying that there's a lot of adult hidden humor and it's not good for kids. And it's just 2 hours of I am woman, hear me roar, and men aren't shit. And then, they go out of the Barbie world into the real world. And then in the real world, Ken realizes that there's a patriarchy and they can run women. So it's just a smorgasbord. It sounds like feminazism and patriarchy and just a whole, convoluted mess of a gender war. But then at the movie's end, then the women are back in power in Barbie land. And it's 2 hours of singing and jumping up and down and white fur coats and fluff and this. I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to watch it. No saying. I'm not going to watch it. I'm not doing it. So I watched Ben Shapiro for half an hour just go off. Him and a myriad of other white men are really trashing this film. I don't see black men talking about Barbie. This is definitely I am a white man. I'm angry. No one's listening to us. Heroes of War thing.
Well, no saying. Do you want to like do a rant, or do you want to cry about like tell us your real feelings? We are not going to judge you. This is a safe space.
Listen,
no saying. Here you go.
Yeah, this is a safe space. No saying.
I get it. I don't know what people. I just don't know what people are thinking these days. I get people need to talk about things. I get there's some guys out there that are really angry at the world, right? But I'm just like, it's a freaking movie, and it's a Barbie movie. It's not as if they're trying to make this based in reality. I don't know. It's kind of hard to imagine how this movie would get someone upset. And okay, so they made some gay jokes, dude. If you ever went to a firehouse and hear the what you call what my dad used to call it, grab assing that they do at a firehouse.
Well, what's the rating on this movie? What's the rating before we move?
I think
further? Do we know?
Yeah, I think it's what you gotta. I'm not sure.
I mean, I'm gonna look it up.
That's interesting. That's a good question. What is the rating on this?
Now, I want to hear the rating as well, but I can. So if the rating is not PG-13 or, I could understand some people being upset, like because Barbie it's almost like you're taking someone to go see a cartoon, and the parent doesn't know anything about it, and then it's Beavis and Butthead or something like that.
It's PG-13.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, in some sense, I get it because Barbie is a staple, and girls play with Barbies, and Kens, and so it seems like it should be a movie for younger kids, and like you said, the colors and everything. But it's PG-13 as well, so I mean, you gotta, you have to listen. If that's what Ben Shapiro's, I'm not sure what Ben Shapiro's mad about. Other than maybe he thinks this is going to influence people and make them do things that they normally wouldn't do, or if that's the argument. But
that's everybody's argument with everything.
Yeah, right. I mean, listen, welcome to the world, right? I mean, it's the world is not here the world's not here to make you feel comfortable at every turn. You're going to be uncomfortable in this world, and that's just the way it is. So, I mean, but I can understand if a parent, but the parent's job is to know what the movie is about before you bring your kids, if that's the argument, you know. But other than that, I mean, you know, listen, there's plenty of movies out there that make men look like dummies, or sitcoms that the men are out of touch. I mean, that's kind of how entertainment is, you know. If it was especially something they're trying to make funny. So I don't know.
But do you think, well, it says here $155 million debut. The campaign itself looked like $1 billion campaign. I can't believe how many major brands partook. Major brands just partook. Everybody went pink. Everybody, a building out here, I think the Palms, was it the Palms or the Resorts World? One of the hotels out here made their whole thing pink. There's a huge Airbnb, a Barbie Airbnb. It looks just like a Barbie dream house.
That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
It looked cute. It looked hella cute.
I saw, like, you're right, Jen, here leading up to the Barbie movie, which I'm going to be honest with you, none of it fell on me. Like, none of it moved me to want to see it. It actually was the opposite, but it was everywhere. And I did catch now. And I'm not a white male, okay? And I'm not
sure, Lily? Because I was wondering.
Well, I haven't got my ancestry back yet, so the debate is still out. But
true.
just
That's
today,
true,
as of today, I don't identify as a white male. Okay. But I kind of felt something when I saw the tagline. I gotta go find it. But it was everywhere here in the city, right? Oh, and it was everywhere here in the city. And I remember seeing it, and I was like, ooh, that kind of looked a little suspect. Okay, so and I don't quote me, I'm gonna look for it or whatever, but it was something in the sense of, like, these weren't the exact words, but this is what my takeaway from it, right? Barbie's everything, and Ken, he's just there, like, he's just a piece of shit. That was pretty much like the and if you saw it, like, it, and I'm putting it up against everything else that is going on, because we always have to think about the social climate of that particular time. They are aware that we're in the middle of gender wars.
Yes.
They're clearly aware that we're in the middle of gender wars. So it was like, it felt like to me they was playing up on that, right? I was saying you going through it. What's up?
No. I hear what you're saying, but listen, now I understand you're bringing it around to the climate we're in today, because all I could think about is, we always thought Ken was dumb. It's kind of like Bam Bam from the Flintstones. Yeah, the big blonde, muscular guy. I mean, for a guy, guys always would think, oh, he's just a good-looking guy or whatever, but he's got no brains. It's almost like a blonde, like what they say about, well, probably thought about Barbie too, like a airhead or whatever, you know. So it's like,
oh, no, she's a scientist, she's a doctor, she's a teacher, she's a lawyer, and she has a Corvette. Don't you say that about Barbie.
Now I'm talking about when we're growing up.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah.
We're growing up, but like, yeah, so I mean, it's bizarre. Oh man, it's just so bizarre that there are people that really feel a certain way about a make-believe Ken character. It's bizarre. I don't know, man. I don't know.
think it's representing where we're at in society right now. And I think that's what the issue is. We got the manosphere, we got this fear, we got all of these pills, you know. And so I think they're playing on that, right? Which is what you're supposed to do, right? Because we're all cloud chasing, including Mattel, right?
Okay, and what we said earlier, though, I'm glad then that the movie's doing this, because we need to ignore these people, just like we were saying earlier, like double down on these things, you know, because we do need to bust out of this.
You're right.
Being offended, or, you know, somehow, you know, the boycott, the cancel. I mean, I think, and we were talking about a little earlier, I think maybe it might take some time, but I don't know, a year, 2 years, 5 years, but I think it's going to play itself out, because I understand, like, yeah, it's weird. it's weird to get upset about this.
But when no devil's advocate, when you say, it's up to the parents to like, well, it's up to you to research. I think it's false advertising because let's say I'm a parent who's not really in tune. I don't have time working. Oh shit, it's a Barbie movie. My girls love Barbie. They're 7, they're 8. Let me go over there. I am not expecting to go. I mean, I know the guys in the chat say, yeah, I would laugh if I heard beat you off. But if I'm sitting there with my 7, 8-year-old daughters, I don't want to see men, playing around about that and making it a joke. And then they're doing it for like a whole 45, 45, according to Ben Shapiro, 45 seconds to a minute. And it's like, adults take advantage, right? And we see that the cartoons are getting more and more mature, and I am on it with my daughter. I'm like, what is my grandbaby watch YouTube Kids, because even in YouTube Kids they doing foul shit. Watch that Adult Swim, watch this. They're getting more mature, right? It's not just the cute fuzzy, so we can say that. We can say, oh well, research, but I'm like, it's a kids movie, and if I'm getting a ticket to see a kids movie, I'm thinking it's a kids movie. I'm not thinking I'm gonna see messages and jokes.
Well, yeah, I understand. Listen, and you're totally 100% correct on the cartoons. I mean, and I want to say it kind of started with, it might have been before. I know there were some movies, some heavy metal cartoon that was kind of pornographic in ways. This is back in the 80s.
Teletubbies or something, or Barbie,
no, not Teletubbies, but I'm talking about like I'm talking about Beavis and Butthead.
No, one of the Teletubbies was gay, Lily. You remember the one?
Yeah, I remember the gay Teletubby. Yes.
Yeah. And yeah. So they have Beavis and Butthead kind of started, and then South Park, right? South Park was, and then like you said, I remember watching the one Shrek, the first Shrek, and it was the double entendres in that movie, and I was like, and I know that's a kid's movie, but they were throwing in some references in there, and I was like, the kids wouldn't catch it, that's
on
not
Shrek?
The little ones. Shrek.
Because I never watched Shrek.
Oh my god, it's good because it's a good movie. I
missed it. It went over my head.
Oh my goodness, there was some stuff in there they'd be like, oh shoot, man, that's like, the kids, like, if you're real young, it would go over your head, but if you're like, I was like, whoa. So you're right, that part is right, but what I'll say is there are ratings on these movies for a reason. So if it's PG-13, you got to ask yourself why, and then you maybe look into why it's PG-13.
I wouldn't even have thought a Barbie movie would be PG-13.
And I wouldn't have even checked for a rating.
No,
I promise
I wouldn't have either.
I would not have checked for a rating on a movie called Barbie.
No.
with the marketing when she looks. It's not like it's called Barbie and then it looks like a regular film. It's called Barbie, and then Margot Robbie looks like a Barbie, and Ryan Gosling looks like a Ken. So I'm thinking, oh, kid movie, yay, let's go see it. So again, is there an agenda? Who knows? White men on YouTube certainly think so. The men do.
Yeah, the agenda is they want to make money. That's the agenda. That's the agenda. They're trying to make money so if they can spread it out over like a PG-13, so you're going to get some teenagers, and then the adults that go and watch it have something that's entertaining, or maybe they'll be laughing at the beach off jokes or something like that. That's the agenda.
So what do you think about the whole feminism aspect of it? No, Sam, do you feel like they are blowing it out of proportion, or there's something
you explain, because I haven't seen the movie. So what are they talking about with the feminism part? Just like they're great and the men are dumb?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. That's the premise of the entire film, that they're, the women don't need the guys, and the guys are like himbos, right? Like male himbos throughout, and they can't run anything or do anything, and the Barbies do everything, and they're kind of like the accessory, kind of like the real Ken and Barbie. Ken has always been an accessory.
Yes, so are you saying, like, what do I think about as far as like people saying that's the agenda of Hollywood? Is that what people are saying? The agenda is
Hollywood and the media and
yeah. So I will turn it around and say, all right, so Ken's a dummy, But what about Einstein and Oppenheimer in the movie Oppenheimer? Those guys are kind of really smart. So they're fighting against each other. If they're pushing one agenda, they're doing a bad job, because you got another movie just on the other side of it showing some pretty ingenious males.
Okay, so I guess the point you're making is kind of what happens here on the show, right? This show is very balanced, but then people are going to always hone in on the person and the sentence that they don't agree with that triggers them. They won't hear, they're going to disregard everything else that they were shaking their head and clapping to and doing this to, and then they're just going to hone.
No, that's normal. But that's
yeah,
normal.
that's normal. Yeah.
That's what people do.
Yeah.
They'll, like, it happened to Jen. I'm sure, I don't really pay attention, but I'm sure people maybe dissected something I've said, and and took the one thing that, the rap or something like that. And
yeah, that's why I tell people. That's why I tell people all the time: don't fall in love with me, because you're gonna hate me tomorrow. Because I'm like Flame Monroe. I say how I see things and how I feel about them. I don't pander. I'm like, this is not the channel. Like, you may love me today, and then tomorrow you might, ooh, she thinks that, yeah.
Right.
It's really, that's really good though. Like you said, it's interesting because they can love you, and this happens to people way higher up than any of us, but you make that one mistake and they will tear you down in a second. You know what I mean?
But see, that's the thing about America. America loves they love the rags to riches story. They love to be a part of your come up, and then they want to tear you down and then be like, okay, get back up, right? Like, it's just this weird, sick obsession with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I don't know.
And I'm like, no, I mean, I see why, there is, we talk a lot about how, like, black men hate black women, but white men also have a disdain for white women who are like, I am woman, hear me roar. Like, let's not
Because Wonder
forget.
Woman had the same backlash.
Yes, and so did The Woman King, and a host of movies that were led by women. The Harley movie, when she did all the chicks, when Harley did that movie, and it was all the women. Every time women do that, men do have something to say about it. I think Barbie does it blatantly, though.
Yeah,
like the movie's blatantly like, men are dumb, we don't need them. Right. And then when they go to the real world, they discover a patriarchy, and then Ken gets happy, like, yay, we could run women. And then that, disappears. But Barbie is saying it straight up. Like,
okay,
men are dumb, we don't need y'all.
I have a devil's advocate, though.
But isn't it apropos? Like, you know what I mean?
I have a devil's advocate for the white men who are upset, because women have had to endure the opposite for many years. So is it no fun when a rabbit got the gun? Because things change. The paradigm in society has completely shifted in all facets of society. This is just one of them, right? We all are having to pivot and adjust and look at things differently now, because things have changed. So it's just your turn, probably.
Yeah, I believe what you said, and that's what, before you said, I was thinking to myself, this is the whole thing. If it's hurting because of the climate we're in right now, if it's hurting people, it has something to do with, again, the loss of control. And so now it's the loss of control. They can't control women anymore. And then now there's a movie out, like you said, Lily, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, maybe nobody would be saying anything about it, right? But now that we're in this, I can see what you're saying. Now that we're in this climate, it hurts even worse, because it's a smack in the face. But, because they feel like they don't, a lot of people feel like they don't, and they don't have control.
Right.
First of all, Misty, hi. I did the same thing with my Barbies. I promise you, my Barbies had car accidents too.
Yes. Well, I had to steal my cousin's Barbies to have this to create this play.
That's funny.
But it was stolen Barbies that was able to live this. I told you, they had a whole life, Jen. They had a whole life. Like, and it would be continuation. Like, when I have to go to school and I come home, I'll pick up where I left off. Like, because they were at work while I was at school. You know?
No, seriously, like my
That's
Barbies,
funny.
they would my Barbies came with the little makeup kits, and I would mix the red and the blues to give her little bruises from the car accident. And I would use toilet paper and roll it up and then wrap it around her leg and put scotch tape so it could look like a cast. I was a weirdo.
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
I guess
no. No,
listen,
that was me, Jen.
I guess we all had some of that. I mean, as a kid, we had like we were growing up during Star Wars, so one of us would have the Millennium Falcon, or you'd have army people, or or sometimes it was Star Wars. So anyway, we if it was a war going on, we'd take fireworks like Roman candles or bottle rockets and shoot them at the characters, shoot them at the ships.
These them toys were not exciting enough. We had to add some excitement.
Oh yeah, they were gonna have a whole storyline. Like they were gonna fall out. They were gonna have fights. Like they weren't gonna be speaking to each other. And then this one had like I'm talking about whole storylines of
I
these
made
girls.
tiny little magazines and put it in her suitcase because she had a little Barbie had a briefcase. I made tiny little magazines with staple. Oh God, too
Oh
much.
god, I used to create weaves and stuff for them. Oh god, I would
The
like my
days are
Barbie was the first.
gone.
Yeah, those it was
Tristan
beautiful.
stupid. He said, "Man, Ghost was one of them kids. If you don't pay attention to where she is at all times, your house is on fire."
No, that was actually me. Mm. My family has plenty of those types of stories about me.
Yeah, I was a little bit of a firebug.
I was
I
too.
mean, fire is attractive. Come on, and look at
Yeah,
you now, Nosy.
Yeah, I know, I know, I
yeah.
know.
You're making an
Uh,
amends.
you are.
Yeah.
But I think with the Barbie thing goes back to what you said, no saying it's the timing. It's a slap in the face because I think the red pill, the ministry and all, they really felt like they was making some leeway, like, yeah, we're putting these women back in their place. And then here comes a $1 billion project that says, no, y'all are just dumb and we don't need you. And now we're gonna
Yeah.
say it on a big screen. And I think that's why they're so angry, because when you scroll YouTube and social media, the people that are complaining the most, I'm not talking about just commentary and reviews, the people that are actually complaining about the content of the movie are white men. Remember, especially in the red pill. Shout out to the guys that I know from the red pill, but they have this, you know, idea that a woman's agency is her sexuality, right? Her body. And I'm like, well, did women think that, or are they taking advantage of what you think? Right? Because that's going to happen to any living thing. If a man, you know what I mean, if a man says, if a woman says the only thing men are good for is penis, let's say, like that's the only thing men are good for, men are going to be like, well shit, well let me use my penis to get some shit. If women say the only thing men are good for is money, men are going to try to go out and make more money. So if men put an emphasis on a woman's vagina or her body, and it's like that's her agency, then women are going to use that as a superpower. Like, oh, okay, you think this is my agency? Well, check this out. Now I'm going to come in with a tight little skirt, you know what I mean? A tight little pins. Then I'm going to play with my hair. Since you're saying that's my agency, so I'm going to take advantage with this quote unquote agency. Remember, you decide. You decided that was my agency. So here I am, tits and all, right? So and I'm sure that's why they're angry, because they try to diminish women from many different angles. And here's Barbie saying y'all ain't shit, and I'm the biggest shit. I'm the blockbuster. You know what I mean? Now it's on a blockbuster screen. So I do think it's the timing, but these red pill dudes are turning inside out. Ben Shapiro was talking about it like it was the return of Satan, like Satan came back. He was like, it's in the top 10 worst movies I've ever seen. I will never get those 2 hours in my life back. And he was going in.
And see that, and here comes the issue that I have. Okay, this is actually what started this conversation. Well, it ended up being a whole nother conversation. Uh, yeah, but what started, because it just took me back. I'm like, oh, this is how we ended up talking. We were talking about something like this, and what I have to say to that, when I see that, is that's the least of your worries. That's the least of your problems. You got a long plausible list of things that are plaguing you and your community than Barbie. Okay. But Barbie's an easy target. Barbie is a representation of what No Saint said of their loss of power, and they are not happy with it. Who wants to lose power? Okay, so we've changed the rules in the middle of the game, and no one's gonna be okay with that. Nobody is gonna be okay with that.
But is it power or dictatorship? Because women are never taking over the government.
Mm,
Right? It's disproportionately white male. Women will they don't have the firepower, they don't have the army, they don't have the military. Women will never, ever, I mean, literally, they brought women down a couple notches with the now you can't get an abortion. That to
hmm
me says men are very much in power,
right.
very much in power. The government is disproportionately white. So what is this panic when no saint when you say they're afraid to lose power? How on earth is their power, at any risk of being lost?
Well, so you're right. Overall, the government and are run by men and majority white men, but there are a lot of people that aren't in the government or aren't running anything and don't have a say. And their one say in the past used to be, I got this woman and she's going to listen to me. Control, like you said, almost a dictatorship, Well, she's going to marry me. I make more money. So I'm going to control this house. They felt like they had a bit of control. Now they feel like they don't have control. And the one thing they felt like they had a little control of is slowly moving away from that. So it's
Man, that
like,
sucks.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But listen, you have to adapt no matter what. In anything, you have to adapt. I mean, we're in a society now where things are moving so fast that you might have to get retrained 4 or 5 times in your life. If that, maybe more. I mean,
I'm
Right.
still not using Latinx or Latin, but continue.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
right.
no, but it's hard. Listen, I'm not gonna lie. It changes, and this is changing fast now. The dynamics between men and women are changing, and
Completely.
it's not easy for. Like, I was watching today, there was a self-proclaimed incel, and I'd forgotten about this, and I watched a video on him, and it was crazy, the vitriol this guy. Now, his mom turned him in, and he had a plan. He was already staking out Ohio State. He was going to go to the sorority, and he was going to kill as many women. And he wrote out, he just had a hatred. He said he even went out, like, riding in a car or something. He had like a gun full of like orange juice, and he said hello to some girls, and they just didn't look up, and I guess the way they said, oh, hi, or something, whatever, they ignored him. So he squirted him in the face, right? And he did it on the birthday of the guy in California that killed a bunch of women. I can't remember his name. It's like the hero of the incels, though. He had a manifesto and everything. And he would have succeeded if it had not been for his mom getting really scared. And I guess he lashed out at her, and they called the cops. Cops came. They found like the weaponry that his mom didn't even know he had.
Red flag
And
them.
yeah, yeah, it was bizarre. I was like, wow, the vitriol and the hatred. And the problem is that might have been something in the past that people might have felt that way, but now they have communities to run to and
Right.
support each other. And now people are using it and taking it into action. But it's crazy. Like, the men thinking that they have a right to sex and don't have to do anything. Like, they want women to love them with no conditions, and that's just not going to happen. Everybody's got conditions. So I don't know. It's a little bit off on a tangent, but I just thought what you said, it's just
No,
bizarre.
it's
But I think,
related.
It's
It's
a
related.
wonderful,
yeah,
wonderful
it,
tangent, actually.
yeah. So yeah, it's just so yeah, men are there are a lot of white men in power, but there are also a lot that don't have any power. And the one thing they did have power over, or at least they felt they had control, they don't. It's fading.
Yeah,
I
because
mean,
go ahead,
oh
Lee.
no, no, go ahead. Well, I was just going to say that there's more incels or more people not getting what they want out of life than there are.
Mhm.
So that's why their voices are so resounding and so loud, because when they sing in their choir is a lot more voices than the choir of the cool people, the people who are wealthy, the people who are get what they want out of life. They're like a quartet, right? Up against the incels, their whole choir,
Mhm. And
incel
I
mass choir.
Yeah, and very recently, as you guys may know or not know, I've been on a couple of red pill podcasts, invited, of course, and it's been interesting to kind of kick it with them because I notice, even if you don't fall under the category of women they describe, they still try to put you, insist that that is your thing. And I was on Black Eyes podcast, and I love Dav. Dav is super super cool guy, and we're all clout chasing and doing our thing on these podcasts. All of us are, but I noticed that he kept trying to put me in that box of women that, no, you want a man, don't you? You're looking for marriage. And I'm like, no, Dav. And it's like the more you say no, the the more they persist, because it's the theme that women are pining for men in this ring, and we're all like, oh, I need a ring, or whatever. Who am I going to be without a man? You know what I mean? Claiming me, and they just cannot relate to a woman that is like, I'm not looking for it right now. It's like, I love men. Y'all are really cool, but I don't even think it's healthy for any human being, a man or a woman, to be in a relationship back to back to back to back, never be alone, never get downtime to just like reflect and be with yourself and do other things, right? It seems like they feel like women they must live an entire life looking for a man or being stuck with a man, and men are not coping well when they come across a woman and it's like, I'm good, you guys are great, and when I want to check for one of you, I'll check for one of you, but right now I don't. It's like it's acid to them. It's like,
It
no,
is,
you must
Jen.
be a woman that wants a man. You must be. If you don't,
You're
something's wrong with
lying.
you.
You're
You're lying.
lying.
And it's
Yes.
like, this is weird.
It's so weird. So this is your first time being celibate, right?
No, my third.
Okay, third. So you get it. So I've done it 3 times myself, and each time it's never on no men ain't shit, and that's why
Right,
it's just like, no, I need a break. I need to figure out who I am because I've been in this relationship for X amount of years. I entered
right.
the relationship one person, I exited another person. I just need to see who that person is before I go enter something else. That's all. You're lying.
Yeah, and it's
you,
like, this is weird. This is weird. It's like, so because I was like, I'm open to dating, but I'm not looking. I'm not currently, like, I'm not on Match.com, and I'm open. Like, if I meet a nice gentleman and he's like, hey Jen, you want to go grab a steak? I'm like, okay, cool, right? I'm open, but I'm not looking because I'm looking to achieve other things. So he was like, that doesn't make sense. How are you open to dating but not looking? I was like, you don't understand that statement?
No, they don't. No.
It's kind of like when you're at a friend's house and they're like, are you hungry? And then you're like, no, I'm not. But, if you bring out some cookies, I'll have one.
If you
It's
bring out some
literally the
cookies
same.
and it appeals to me, I'll have one.
Right. Like, it's like, all right, what did you cook? Like, I'm not hungry, but fuck it, I'm here. What did you cook? It's the equivalent. I'm not currently looking. I'm not like, oh my God, I need a man. But if a nice gentleman were to come along and be like, hey Jen, what are you doing Tuesday? Nothing. Let's go grab a steak. I'll be like, all right, let's go grab a steak. And I'm like, you guys still don't understand that. It's fucking weird. Like, you
They
have to.
truly don't
And I'm like,
understand
no,
that.
You know,
you're not gonna make me that.
I mean, I kind of wonder if that's just the difference between experiences for women and experiences for men, because I'm thinking to myself, men are always going to be looking because we don't have nearly the opportunity, especially average guys, right? Don't have nearly the
Maybe
opportunity.
that's what that is.
And women, whenever they want to, it doesn't take long for someone to come calling. So men are always like ready. Like, what do you mean you don't want to date? You're not looking.
That's what it is, because I
You,
keep
yeah, that was
hearing.
good. No, Saint, that
That's
was
what it
really
is,
good.
because I keep hearing one day you're gonna wake up and you're not gonna be able. Long as
They
I have
always say that.
long as I have a warm hole between my legs. It doesn't matter if I am 95 with 10 cats, I can find someone.
and
Do you understand that?
and not
They don't
necessarily always. It doesn't
understand
always
it.
have to be warm either. You can get that one guy.
Right. I mean,
Catch you in a morgue.
I keep telling people my grandmama had a man give her a house at 83. So
Now,
I'm just saying.
now necrophilia isn't a thing.
Right.
Come on,
But
people, work
that's
with me.
that's always their line too. And I'm just like, I don't understand that. Like, I don't relate to that. I
Right.
don't think like that. That's not as like, because like you said, no Saint, the whole celibacy, we got people trying to knock our doors down and kick the door in. So, we do know that the options are there. We do know nothing's drying up because
Mm-hmm.
they're steadily
Like,
trying. It's just that
do you understand? Never. And they don't understand that. It's literally never. I will always have options. I can be 60, 70, 80. And if Jen wants to have sex at 60, 70, 80, I can find someone to have sex. They will never. I will never be out of options. It's insane. Well, you look better at 25 than you did. I will always look good to somebody.
somebody,
It doesn't
right?
matter. It doesn't matter. You think younger women look better than older women. I will always look good to and more than somebody. I'm being nice, okay? But I will always appeal to different men from different walks of life. It will never happen where I'm walking through life and I'm like, oh my God, I can't find one man who I could get laid with, not one. What did I do, Lily? I should have took advantage in my 40s. Now look at me. No one will touch me. It's never going to happen. And it's funny because we hear a lot about penis envy, but I really think it's vagina envy. I think men have vagina envy because we have more options. Women have more options. Well, oh, he has more options. And when I was on the podcast, I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I was like, oh my God,
Oh,
you
it's
guys are too
definitely
much.
vagina bad bitch envy because when
Ah,
you listen to their complaints and their rants, it sounds like the complaints and rants of a woman who's not getting what that other woman is getting, if that
yeah.
makes sense, right? Like when I
Yeah.
listen to their complaints, I'm like, that don't sound like a man's complaint.
Well,
Like,
well, I did say that, the tables are turning and men are becoming more and more feminine. Moxie Witz says, I love my ring. Go ahead, girl. Salute to you. Long as people understand there are women who don't give a fuck about a ring. Yeah, I mean, there's all kind of different people
right.
on this planet. There's all kind of different people on this planet, but men have been conditioned to think that women are constantly running and looking for that white dress and what. And you know how many times I could have got married, and he's like, but all women say that. I'm like, no. Do you really know? Do you think men are hard nuts to crack? Is that what you think?
Let me tell you.
You offer a
No.
man a fucking some head and a sandwich, and he's like,
I
yeah,
fucking say a good sandwich made white, cut and the way they like it.
a fucking sandwich and some head, and you can't get rid of them. What are you? Who
That's
the
it.
fuck do you think you're talking to?
Yep, it's the
Thank you for
truth.
the mute your mic. No, same. Thank you for the super chat, Fahim Jackson. Fahim Jackson says white women are lacking marital options, choosing to be single. So for the first time in history, these white men are useless to their women.
Or
White
maybe
women
the
are lacking marital options,
um
choosing to be
I
single.
I don't okay, I'm confused. Okay.
So for the
Okay,
first time
maybe
in history, these white men. I understand the second part. I didn't
yeah,
understand.
okay. Let me read this.
White
Maybe
women
he's
are lacking.
saying that the options, the white men are not don't have men are not as
Maybe he meant to say white men are lacking marital options,
no, like
choosing.
maybe he's saying like the choices for
Uh,
white women have gone down. Like there's not as many white men.
Okay, I get it. I do get it.
I
White
think
women are
so.
lacking marital options, choosing to be single. Okay, I get it. I do get it. I get it. I get it. I get it.
okay.
Okay, I get it. Yeah, that is correct. Thank you for the super chat, Fahim Jackson. Yeah, you know, and it's to the point where it's like, yo, do you guys see, like, for as much as you try to bash women with this feminism, this Barbie thing, whatever, you guys really on the short end of the stick. And it's, you guys love numbers. You guys love it, from body count to statistics. You love numbers, but you are continuing to ignore 80% of women file for divorce. That's a staggering number. That is staggering. I've never heard a fucking stat like that. 80% of women are saying, I want to get the fuck away from a man. 80% and growing. The staggering numbers of male self-deletion the staggering numbers of men 18 to 30 that are sexless, and you're telling women they're gonna die alone. You're living alone.
Right.
You're living alone, telling women they're going to die alone. It's bizarre, and the only thing they have to hang on is, you want a ring. I'm like, no, I don't.
Right, because typically when a woman is alone, it's by choice, and when a man is alone, it's just because he hasn't been able to get the right catch. So that does feel different.
Not
It
to
does feel different.
mention, not to mention, they don't bounce back well from a breakup. And I was telling a guy very recently, I said, I was like, women, we mourn up front. We
Yes.
mourn relationships up front. We scream, we cry, we cut our hair, we have the pints of ice cream, we listen to slow music, we can't go outside, we lose weight or gain weight, we can't eat, we can't sleep. We mourn in the beginning. Men, just soy más macho, fuck that bitch. Let me go fuck with this bitch. Let me go to, what's up, nigga? Oh, yeah, we in the club. Fuck that bitch. Fuck bitches ain't shit, right? Y'all
Yep.
do all that hot shit at the beginning. We mourn in the beginning. That's why y'all always want to spin the fucking block. But we
And we're
mourned
over
you.
it.
We buried you. We threw the dust on it and threw the little flowers, and you're dead to us. And that's why y'all always spin the block. If I had a fucking dollar for every man in my life that spun the fucking block, you always spin the block. Because
It's
after
true.
it's no longer fun and you see your boys with their wives and their girlfriends, you're like, I have one.
I
Hey,
had
big
one.
head. Hey, big. And it's like, the number you have reached, 718-555, has been disconnected. And then you're stuck with that. But that's why I'm like, I can't even believe the topics that are in the red pill. I'm like, you guys are on the short end of the stick. And it's
Oh,
crazy.
and I'm going to say this too. This is another thing that people don't really talk
You're
about
a
much.
hoe. Okay.
Yeah, that one too.
You're still
There's another.
sexless.
There's another thing that people don't talk about much. Nature plays a cruel trick too. Because over 40, shit changes hormonally where men become women and women become men. And women become like very like, oh, I don't really need it. I can take it or leave it, right? With relationships. And the men start thinking about their mortality and thinking about, oh shit, I may die alone. Right. But see, the women, like you said, we've done it up front. We've done the relationships. We've done the holding a man down. We've done the speaking life into. So typically, once we turn 40, 50, it's kind of like, okay, what was the payoff for all of that?
Not to mention how easy it is to be single as a woman at any age, even into old age, because women bond. That is
Right.
why you see certain daughters living with their mothers
Oh,
forever
that's a
till
good
death.
one. That's a good one.
Till death.
Yes.
You don't
Yes.
see men doing that. Men
No.
rarely, if ever, you see. But a woman is like, oh, I'm be single. I go moving with my mama. We gonna be
Right.
eating and chilling and hanging out till she die.
Right.
Like women could very easily. You're gonna die alone. You know how many women I knew of who died alone, happy because they was with their mom or their sister, living with their sister. What do they call them? I forgot what they call those women. But anyway, women adjust very quickly and comfortably with the quote unquote being alone. Do men? Are you going to move in
No.
with your father who's probably going to die at age 70, 75? What
No,
are you going to do, sir?
older single men they're usually not happy. But when I see older single women, they're living their best
Don't you see
fucking
those
life.
sisters? Don't you see those sisters living together? It be 3
Yes.
generations of women under one roof. I'm like, you got a
Yes.
man in here? Y'all ain't no man.
They ain't even thinking about it, ain't even talking about it, ain't thinking about it. Like it's totally different. It's the table switch. Like
I'm like,
it's
you are not going to convince me that it's a terrible. You're not going to convince me at all.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he means by this comment. The comment you have there. I'm not sure what he means. What happened in Rome?
Nothing new. This is nothing new. It happened to Rome before. The USA isn't meant to be here forever. Time is winding down. We act like this. And did Rome fall? Is that what happened?
Well, listen, I mean, yeah, but I'm not sure what he means. What I'm
That the
if
USA
he can,
is going to fall eventually?
No. He's pointing to this happened in Rome. What marriages, the women being single, and that I'm not sure. I've never heard that before. And just remember that part of Rome fell, and there was a whole nother part of Rome that went on for another 1,000 years. But it's very that's what I'm saying. I'm not sure what he means. I don't know the
Well,
correlation.
he followed up here. He said very soon war will happen because USA men are weak and other countries slowly destroy and take over. You think
No.
someone's going to take over this bully ass country?
No.
America's a bully.
No, listen, he's buying into a bunch of BS. Listen, you may be right. Men are not, like, you can go back, when they had to fight with swords. I'm sure those men were a lot stronger, and we have machines. We have machines doing it now. Jen, I want to bring this up for Fluff One. I just saw a whole thing where speculation is we've already had an autonomous drone kill an enemy.
Ooh.
And the USA is ahead of the game and making sure they stay ahead. And yeah, you can say, well, what happens if this autonomous drone kills a little girl? But countries don't have time to worry about that because you have other countries trying to get the autonomous drones, right? I want to talk about that one day. But yeah, actually making decisions. And I saw these robots. I know it's a different subject I want to bring up another time. And they showing these robots that are training and adjusting. Like they'll put them on like some cushions and you see them stomping down on the cushion. And then they get on this one surface where they're slipping and flipping over. And then so many times of flipping, all of a sudden now it's learned on its own how to go over the slippery surface. And it's crazy. And they're saying that these things they're making these things to where they can make decisions on a battlefield.
I honestly don't think that when I think of like the U.S. falling, like Rome or whatever you're going to compare it to, I don't think it's going to be from the outside.
Inside.
I think it's from the inside.
Yeah,
Inside.
we're already doing it. We're doing a very good job. It's kind of like the whole. It's the same thing with the Black community, with the KKK and the racist white people and da 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 da. And it's like, we're doing a better job than they're doing. We're doing a better job than they've ever done. Like, the
KKK couldn't do the damage that
right. They're like, this is impressive.
And listen, I want to bring it back because when I was talking to him, what I was saying about the men not being, you don't need men to be strong anymore because you can have women push buttons and shoot missiles. I mean, or control drones. You don't need the same kind of physicality. So that's what I was saying about him saying, well, we're weak men. We're weak because we don't have to be strong. If you believe that, because you don't need to be strong to win wars anymore.
Mr. Justin, your question is sitting unless you throw it in the super chat. Who you think this is? He likes sitting my question. You ain't throwing in the super chat. Super chats get priority. There's a business. The block is a business, sir. Maurice says people in the USA believe they're actually controlling their media. Nobody thinks that. China's controlling our media. And Russia.
Right.
Russia and China. Everybody knows that.
Right. Right. They like, what are we controlling? We ain't controlling nothing.
Oh, that was to you. My bad. I jumped on that. So Mr. Justin says, according to a study by Morgan Stanley, it's estimated that 45%, again, a big number, 45% of women ages 25 to 44 will be single and childless by 2030, which is not that far away, honestly. I wonder what will come of society. I know you guys disagreed with me before, but I don't know. I think there should be less people on the planet. I know you guys.
I still disagree. Yeah. But what he's saying there, I can tell you, if they don't have people coming in to fill that void, that is a collapse. That will be
You think so?
That'll be a collapse. Yeah, you can't. Again, I'll bring up China, for instance. They're going through there. They're really close to man. I mean, they're making all kinds of like, we'll give you property to have babies. And the speculation is they may start forcing women to have babies over there. And I could see like people panicking. Yeah, that would be a disaster.
Is that the R camps that I was hearing about? Because the person I was talking to today was talking about R camps.
The R camps. I don't know if that's the R camps. No, it hasn't happened yet, but they're in such a bad demographic spot that they're trying everything to have people have kids in China because it's dire right now. And the way China does things, I wouldn't doubt they'd force people to have babies.
Right. They would.
Yeah.
Well,
Um.
Mr. Justin says, you may not want one, Jen, but you are not the majority. He probably means a ring. But then, Mr. Justin, you went on to say yourself by 2030, women are going to be single and childless. So just like the atheist community, we are growing. Women that don't want anything to do with a man are growing.
Around the
And
world.
around the world. Okay. So it's not just me. I'm not an outlier in that department. And here's the thing. I'm not swearing men off. Your mic, no saying. I'm not swearing.
sorry.
I'm not swearing men off. I'm saying I don't want the burden or the responsibility of one. Why can't people grasp that? Because when I said that on that podcast, people were like, "What does she mean?" I'm like, men are the way I do relationships. Men are a fucking responsibility and a burden, and it's funny because, again, there's always been propaganda that women are the emotional ones, women are the insecure ones, women are the burden, women are the baggage, but men are just as much. As just you guys aren't marketed that way. But I am telling you, without the marketing, men are a fucking burden, all right? And if you're a good woman, it's like there's certain things that you have to do to keep that man happy. That is not something I want right now. The man who would make me do that, he'd have to be the most amazing thing ever, right? However, the majority of men are a burden. First of all, you guys get boring really, really quickly. Okay. Some of you don't have a good sexual appetite. Okay. I'd have to dress a certain way and look a certain way. And I'm sorry, I'm thinking, and whenever I make like a $5,000, I'm like, do I need a man? Like, I could literally walk around how I want in my house, eat out of a fucking can, okay? Order pizza, eat cold
Like I
pizza.
did tonight. I ate
Don't
over can
don't
tonight.
match my underwear. Don't shave my legs, and I still got 5,000 from this gig. Why do I need a guy here? That is how women are thinking. That is how women are thinking. And men have to evolve around that. So when I say that, yes, I love men. Yes, if I ever choose to have sex again, it's going to be with a man, right? What I'm saying is, I don't want the burden or responsibility of one in my house, because you guys are a responsibility. And whoever told you weren't, it was probably your fucking mother, because you guys are a responsibility. We have to cater to you. And women are tired of catering to you and also working. And remember, you guys are now at the point where you need a 50-50 woman. And that shit's out the window now too, because women are like 50-50 for what, when I could do 100 in my own place. It's just not worth the burden. So it's funny when men are like, oh, what does a woman have to offer but box? What the fuck do you have to offer? Because I could keep my box at home and pay my bills, not have to worry about you.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of truth in what you're saying. I mean, I know it is, because I'm thinking to myself, it used to be, and that's what, when guys are talking about the good old days or whatever, it used to be that the man made the money and made the majority of the money and set up a house, and then the women, their roles were to like take care of the house, raise the kids, cook, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's a lot of work, and men know that's a lot. We know that's a lot of work. And that's why a lot of times if we're living alone, you won't see that being done because it's a lot of work, right? And so now women are like saying, wait up, I'm out here and, I'm making, if not as much, I'm making a good amount of money, and I don't have the time to sit home and do all this stuff anymore. And you're still coming home and wanting the old days, Archie Bunker or whatever, sitting there, I get it. And no man would do that. No man would do that.
No man will do that.
And no saying, it's not even coming. And here's where men get it confused. Men really think that it's coming from a place of bitterness, or it's not even that. It's just being comfortable in my own home, making my own. It's not even a bitter, like, I'm swearing men off because I'm sick of you. It's not even that. I love men. Men are amazing. Fucking amazing company. I love the masculine energy. It's not even that. I love men. I'm not one of these women that's swearing off men. It's just, it's a burden and a responsibility that I want, especially for me. I'll speak for me. I'm an older woman. My child is out the home. She's married, doing home thing with her children. It's like, oh, so I don't got no responsibility, and you think I'm gonna add a man? so I can have responsibility? No, sir.
Mhm.
No, sir. Now we can hang out, we can get dinner, we could do, you know what I mean? But I'm like, I don't want the burden of you guys are a lot of fucking trouble. That's extra laundry. That's extra food I gotta cook. That's extra. I gotta look cute. Oh, it's extra, extra, extra. Now I'm not saying that there's not a man out there that I'd want to do that for, but he'd have to be like the most unburdensome man on the planet. And where is he? In cartoons, in Disney. That's where he is. Okay. He comes
Yeah,
down the flight of stairs and finds my glass shoe at the bottom step.
and see that goes back to what I was saying. Like one of the reasons um that when I'm celibate or just taking a break, right, and working on myself, I'm like, there's no way in the world I'm gonna be able to work on myself and do all the things that this man is gonna need. It's just not possible because I know I'm like you, Jim. When
Need.
I'm in, I'm all in. Like
Thank
I'm
you.
that girl. When I'm in,
Need.
I'm all in, and it is a lot of work. It
Because
really is a lot of
let me
work.
tell you another thing about men. Thank you for the super chat, Fahim Jackson. Fahim Jackson says, no, saying Italy is losing population also.
All of them, all of the countries, all of them.
Italy, Germany's in trouble. France is good, and I think Spain's okay because they get a lot of immigration, and I want to say England's in trouble too. But I know Germany and Italy. He's right.
Thank you for the super chat, Tom Levon. The hobbyist says they are not going to need more babies. They make AI robots every day. B.
Yes.
YouTube press is stupid. He said, Jen, it's okay. We understand you just haven't spent time down south. Not all men are created equal. You just need to find one with a good pair of boots. Yeah, okay.
Okay, so this question by Black Lexicon is scary because if you have to ask that question, you're that guy that doesn't understand why your girl is upset.
Black Lexicon says, why? What is so hard about me? Shh.
Yeah. Woo, you gotta ask that question, babe.
It's literally like, the simplest way for me to put it is literally like having another child.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's literally like having another child.
Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
we're very, especially again, if it's a good woman, because you can get a woman but no, Saint, you could chime in.
No, I mean, yeah, because men, listen, we grew up kind of expecting a woman to do all these, to do a lot of things. And it's the way we were brought up. Even in my age, the age range I'm in, you think, okay, I'm going to get married. Women are going to do this, men are going to do that. But yeah, I can see, because I know how I am, and I know how a lot of men are. I know, like, that's a lot. Women do a lot of work. I just watching this Erica with I have a job where I leave the house 2 days at a time, watching her raise babies, the amount of work she was doing. And then I would come home after working and I would want to, there's some resentment. Obviously you get resentment because I would come home. I'm going to watch the game. I'm going to wait, hold on. I've been waking up at 3 a.m. last day. I want a break, and men, sometimes we don't. We're just not good. We just don't connect. You just say, well, wait up. I just made how much money I just make? I just came home. I'm at home. I don't want to work when I'm at home. But meanwhile, the women are working 24/7. Yeah. So I get it. It is. Men are burdens. Men are definitely burdens.
Thank you.
Thank you,
No Saint.
Saint.
Thank you, no Saint. Jesus H. What's the saying? A man can work from dusk to dawn, but a woman's work is never done. We on a 24-hour clock. That baby coughs, or that toddler or that teenager coughs at 3 o'clock in the morning. We're in that room. What is going on? We're never off duty. And I'm like, yes, it's a beautiful thing to raise children and have it's a beautiful thing, but men are burdensome. And I see Moxie said the was it Moxie? The good men are pretty simple. The good men are also a burden. I'm not talking about assholes here. I'm literally talking because I've only dated one. I'll be completely honest. I've only had one asshole in my life.
I've had one.
And that's good.
I've had one. Yeah,
That's a good track record.
Like one true asshole that I feel like this person's a fucked up person.
Yeah, only one person was evil. The rest of the men have been pretty decent men, not perfect men.
Yeah,
all of them weren't rich, some were. But I'm like, just decent men, just decent men. But even the good ones, they're a burden because you have to. And the thing with men is they're very quick to feel like, oh, you ain't sucked my dick in a month, right? Men are like that. Like they tend to get boring quick, but then if you lack somewhere, they're quick to like, be at the bar with their boys. Like, she didn't even give me a hand anymore. Men are that way. And you have to, especially now today. Oh, I feel so sorry for these young women out there because social media, there's ass everywhere. There's excuses everywhere. There's rationalizations everywhere. Every woman online is selling pussy. Like, I don't know how relationships are going to make it today. It is scary out here for the young folk. I wish you well because it is nuts out here now. Thank you for the super chat, Don Levon. Don Levon says the best relationship for me is for my girl staying in her own house. I'll be responsible for myself. Yeah. Easier said than done, buddy. Because men eventually going to be like, damn, she don't even cook for me. We're closing soon, so I did want to this just in hot off the presses, and you're gonna be so shocked. You're gonna be like, no.
I think I saw it. Go ahead.
You saw it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, little Miss Carly kidnapped Russell, who went missing in Alabama after 911 call about child. Says through attorney she wasn't kidnapped. Authorities are now mulling over charges. The Alabama woman who earlier this month went missing for 49 hours after making a 911 call about a child on an interstate says she was not kidnapped and did not see a baby on the side of the road, according to a statement from her attorney. The statement from her attorney, Emery Anthony, read by Hoover Police Chief Nick Durzis during a news conference Monday afternoon, said the 26-year-old woman never left the Hoover area and acted alone. The statement didn't indicate where Russell was while a large search for her took place. We still don't know where she was, Durzis told reporters Monday, adding, only Carly knows, and maybe now her attorney. On July 13, Russell was driving to her home in Hoover from her job in Birmingham, about 10 miles to the north, when she called 911 to say she was stopping her car to check on a child. We asked for your prayers for fuck a prayer. I ain't praying. Fuck y'all. Y'all pray. I'm sick of this shit. Every story is follow up. We ask for your prayer. No, motherfucker. No, you go.
Didn't they take their prayers back from her? Or
yes, they did take the prayers back. It says
when
her
they
issues.
Took their prayers back, girl. They don't want to pray for you no more.
Says understanding after the prayers, understanding that she made a mistake in the matter. Fuck it.
They giving them prayers to the penguins. You got other things to worry about.
I give the prayers to the whale. Let's save the orcas in SeaWorld. Get out of here. Right. Get out of here. Get out of here, Carly Russell.
Right. Give them to the damn orcas or the penguins or some shit. Like, she don't deserve them. I'm over it. I'm so over it.
So now I'm curious, is she going to get charged? Because remember that white lady got charged.
Right.
And convicted.
Well, yeah, she got charged.
And so
they can't say they're doing it because she black. Because the white lady got
charged but not convicted.
Right. I thought he was going to get convicted for sure because that whole thing was wild. That was pretty wild.
But then again, we were dealing with Chicago. So you never know.
Thank you for the super chat. Black Lexicon says women are superhuman. 9 months pregnancy, work, take classes, keep the house and kids right, and still have energy to fuck. Superhuman status. Thank you. Yes! Woo! That's what I'm talking about. Thank you, sir. Listen, I know what I'm up for with that job. That's why I'm like, I'm talking about the man would have to have like maids and all kinds of, it would have to be, an ideal situation where I'm just floating in to the situation and all I got to do is be cute. That's it.
And then they got maids, then you gotta look at Arnold, man. You gotta worry about hitting the maids.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Right.
But listen, I'm not. I expect. I've lived and I've learned. I'm 49. Yeah. I expect humans to humans. So now when shit happens, I'm just like,
it is what it is at this point. I'm like, I'm like,
yeah, it's like, okay, well, it was fun. That's why you have to make sure.
We had a good run.
You just got to make sure you're having the best of time while you're in a situation, because you never know. People wake up and change their minds. We've all
Right.
done it, and we've had it done to us. What is that? Jen, you'd be mad if you had a maid too. You have to wait for them to clean. Can't run to the bathroom naked.
It's my damn house.
Right. I'm always naked. I'm
I'm
just
about to say I'm always naked. I don't need to put the clothes on for the show. Been naked all
right.
damn day.
I'm in my panties right now. Be happy I got panties on.
I usually don't. This is a jumper. I usually don't have pants. Like, just saying.
I'm like clothes.
My
Thank
neighbor's
you,
laughing at me because if you
Moxie.
walk into this building as I'm trying to get in my door, I'm stripping as I'm trying to get into the door. They come in and they come walk in the building because I'm on the first floor. So when you open the main door, the first thing
Don't you hate when
see-
they knock on the door? It's like, fuck, I gotta put clothes on.
Right.
Let me tell you something. Many a pizza delivery man has gotten quite a treat when I go to the door.
Oh Lord.
I'm like, I'm doing my little right head. Thank you. Did they leave you a tip yet? Oh, let me take care of that, baby. Yeah.
So who is more of a burden on the nation?
This is a great ending question. Great
I like it.
ending question. Who is more of a burden on the nation, men or women? Well, I don't know. I hear Sinji talk a lot about the burden that Black men are on the nation, how much they cost the nation every year. I don't have those numbers though. I don't know if Tris is still here, but Cynthia G actually has the stats of what Black men cost, and I don't even know how you figure out that number or that stat, but she repeats it a lot.
I mean, I could imagine. Listen, I don't know, so I'll just entertain the question.
Okay.
I would imagine that men are more of a burden on the nation, especially if you have kids and you don't pay for the kids.
Ooh. Whoa. Don't go there. No, say you about to get us cussed out. Because they want to act like it's no men out here that's not taking care of their kids.
Right,
And if
it's
they
all the
are, it's the
single
woman's
mothers.
fault. Yeah,
Right.
it's the woman's fault. So no saying just be careful now, because we about to have to fight tonight. But yeah. That might have a point.
We're on our way out, Lily, so they're gonna be swinging at the air like boys in the hood.
No faith.
I mean, that's a great point. I didn't even think about that. That's a great point. And there's a lot of men who are, you know what I mean, being dragged to court for child support.
Right.
What's going on back there?
I don't know. They fighting? Or
Moxie is standing strong with her hubby. She said, we all need each other. Neither is a burden. The only burden are those that are toxic or have given up on life. No Saint is like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, right.
No Saint said, I don't know.
Them motherfuckers not taking care of their kids is bringing up my taxes, and now I gotta pay extra taxes.
Lily, you know it's real when the saint of the block is like,
Right.
I don't know about that.
That's the part, because that is usually when you know Saint's line right there. What Moxie said is usually no Saint's line, but when no Saint is like, yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, no, men and women could both be burdens. It's no different than a man who gets with a woman and she's a lazy biatch, don't want to do shit, don't want to cook, don't want to clean, don't want to have sex, she's a burden on that man if she's not.
You see what Moxie said? She's like, my husband's laying right here right now.
It's okay, Moxie. We understand, girl. Oh my goodness.
We love our people.
And here comes our Dom coach. Males, not men, are burdens, Jen. It's a male's chaotic emotions that you have to constantly be catering to or tiptoeing around. And Maurice standing on his misogynistic hill. In my opinion, it's women, and it's not close.
But he doesn't explain why.
I love the chat. I love the chat.
Me too.
Love the chat. He's like, my opinion is women. Funny. Maurice, you're a man. I would never expect you to say it's men. I don't think that would ever happen.
Unless you're intellectually intelligent, like no saying here. So
yeah, I wouldn't expect you to say, yeah, it's us, it's men. This was a good one. No, everybody, hit that like and subscribe on your way out the door. Join us tomorrow. And no, Saint, bring that fluff that you wanted to give us today.
Okay.
No, Moxie, salute
Yeah.
to you. I've met many.
Right.
I know amazing men. I'm
Oh
telling you,
God.
I have no beef with men. I mean, they're the men on this panel, the men in my life, some of the men I'm related to,
Oh, God.
amazing men. But
Amazing.
I don't want to be responsible for one now. That's why I say spin the block in 3 years. We'll
Right.
see how
Oh
I
yeah, I
feel
have
then.
fluff tomorrow. I have fluff too tomorrow. No thanks.
Yes,
Oh, good. Lots of fluff.
okay,
Yeah.
bring the fluff tomorrow. Let's fluff the chat. We will fluff the chat tomorrow.
I've been accused of being a good fluffer before.
Lily, it's only Monday. It's only Monday.
Sorry. Got my calendars mixed up. Sorry. See you on Friday.
All right. Okay, guys. Good night. Love you all. Like Trish says, and good night. Hit that like and subscribe, and don't forget to follow us on our social media. Really quickly, let the folks know where to find us, guys.
Well, you can find me on YB Limited. The way it is spelled here on the screen, the letter Y, the letter B, the word limited. I'm getting better. And you can find me here on YouTube as well as Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook as well.
Follow.
And you can find me, right here where it says down there. It says at Saint No Saint on IG, YouTube, and Threads.
There you go. All right, guys, please follow and subscribe. Let's support each other. Don't forget on the block with Jen at Gmail. If you have a topic idea, something that we may miss so we can dissect it. If you want to support after we are off air on the block with Jen Cash App. Good night, guys. Be good. If you can't be good, be careful.
Good night.
Good night.